Ah. Well, hey, everybody. Hi, it's Becky from Power Tools with Thread. You are in our Stitchuation room. I want to thank everybody who is here and who has been so patient. We had some technical glitches, a little bit of YouTube issues this morning. StreamYard and YouTube were not doing their thing. So if you are still here, I want to thank you so much. And if you're watching on replay, thanks a lot. I've got some editing to do just to make sure. Yay, it's working. Good. That's great. I'm glad to see that. I have got double of me on my screen and I need to get rid, make this kind of go away. Yeah. So it's now showing me a horizontal broadcast and a vertical broadcast for you phone watchers. And that's too many of me. Awesome. Well, and again, technical issues. Not my fault, y'all. Totally YouTube and StreamYard not talking to each other. Let's do the dogs. Dottie is sitting at my feet right here. They have been waiting so patiently. They've been waiting so patiently. Come here, babies. Come here, baby girls. That's my girl. Oh, now we're too far out of shot right there. Let me change the camera angle just a little bit. So there's my sweet girl. So we can see what's going on. You're going to give everybody the back? Here you go. You have to be right in front of me. Yes, ma'am. We don't get any Frito. They're not very good at doing camera work, y'all. They're just not. I can't get both of them today for some reason. It's one or the other. Y'all quit moving around. There you go. Oh, get it, Dottie. There you go, Frito. You guys ready for your chew sticks? So you can go brush your teeth. Okay, these are the sticks, y'all. They're just... Everybody's asking, or some folks were asking yesterday, okay? It's just twisted chew sticks made in the U.S. I want to say they're in my Amazon store. Dottie gets a half. Oh, Dottie, I don't have a half. You're going to get a whole big one. Yeah, take it, girl. Oh, she's a happy clam. She won't want to eat any breakfast, that's for sure. Oh, my goodness, it's snowing in Wisconsin. Leslie, excuse me, y'all. I'm going to close my door. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, my friend Betty Boop, Lisa, she said that they had flurries in South Carolina. She lives right up on the South Carolina, North Carolina border. It is November 11th, Veterans Day, 2025. If you're watching 2 or 3 years from now, that happens. Once it's on YouTube, it stays there forever, it seems like. Thank you, everyone, for the Veterans Day wishes. That's very thoughtful. We appreciate it so much. Okie dokie. What are you looking for in my store? I will tell you guys, do you guys see my new ironing cover? Yeah, Keith recovered my ironing surface for me. Let's look. Y'all will see in a minute anyway. I didn't recover it. My husband did. Yeah. Where was I going? Y'all got me. Anyway, so, let me see. It's coming back to me. Yeah, we're going to do some, I got it all worked out. Some of you are still on the other video, but the chat streams, it's crazy. It's crazy. So this is Lori Holtz. It's from My Happy Place. Isn't that cute? They're little pin cushions. Y'all can copy the link at the top of the video on your browser. Those of you that are on, not on your TVs. And you can post that in the chat on the other video. I can't jump back and forth. I don't have time for that. It's crazy. Tech. Made it. Woohoo. Glad you're here. Appreciate that so much. We are going today. I'm a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution. I have 13 Revolutionary War ancestors. And we are going to I have a DAR meeting today, but in Lavernia, of all places, Lavernia, Texas, we have a beautiful veterans memorial in our city park. And there's a gorgeous, it's a big, huge obelisk, big, tall, whatever, and concrete. It's just gorgeous. And that dedication is happening today on Veterans Day. So we're really excited to be going over there. Keith's going to go with me. And I bought bricks for both of us with our name and our dates of service. And that's in the walkway out there. So very cool. Yeah. pleasure, absolute pleasure. As I said yesterday, Keith and I were both blessed to serve in peacetime. I joined in, he joined in 80 and I joined in 83. So, and yeah, it's very cool, Cassie. I'm really looking forward to it. It should be very nice. They have a gorgeous, and the DAR put a beautiful, it's a remembrance thing, this little statue we got. And it's at the gate to the memorial park. And they always have, they invite all of the veterans from the local area to come and do part of a ceremony. And it's always very, very nice. So really looking forward to that. So, you know, but it's so funny because in San Antonio, I know we have the federal cemetery at Fort Sam Houston. That's where I'll go. And Keith, he keeps saying, you're going on the bottom because we share a hole. Meaning I go first. I'm like, if you don't change your ways, I don't think that's true. So anyway, so we have that. But as far as a Veterans Day, like a big event, I don't know, even if San Antonio does anything like that anymore. I know we did a big one in Universal City, which is right outside of Randolph Air Force Base, which is kind of to be expected. But Lavernia, yeah, but there's tons of retirees that live right where I am because our county has a lower tax rate than where San Antonio is. And there's like 4 or 5 bases, whatever, right around us. Anyway, didn't come here to talk about that. Let's talk about Enchanted Winter and getting this thing together. So yesterday I was putting my pieces together and I realized I had skipped a block, but I've got it. It was the little, the tree block. This little tree right here turned out just precious. Turned out just precious. Yeah, for those of you that are joining late, you're not late. There was an issue between YouTube and StreamYard. Couldn't get them to, I don't know, whatever happened. So, all right. So the first thing I need to do, oh, your 97-year-old father served in World War II, still going strong. That's fabulous. Yeah. My grandfather, my father's father was in during that time. He was a navigator in the Army Air Corps. And my father was a aircraft maintenance guy for 20 plus years. So, and then I did 20 years military active duty and 17 years federal civil service. 37 years to the cause. Best years of my life. Okay. TV issues only in the center of screen, not full screen. Interesting. That's interesting. Okay. I wonder if that makes a difference. Okay. So it's really neat now. What StreamYard has done is they allow me to see what you see if you're watching on a phone. And that's pretty interesting. Very, very cool. Okay. Yeah, close out of YouTube, sign back in. Maybe that will help. Or just close YouTube and then open it back up. Just relaunch it. You don't need to do your password and all that. All righty, y'all. So the first thing I want to do is get these trimmed up. So we're going to use some Orange Pop rulers. These are Kimberbell rulers. They're designed for centering. And this one right here, I've got to do this one and this one. And the reason I left these two undone is because I do want to get rid as best I can of all of this, right? Now, in the design, you are supposed to, your TV is the same way. You had to refresh to get it live. Okay. Yeah, if you don't have a smart TV, you won't be able to get YouTube on your TV. You got to have a smart TV for that. If you got an old TV, it doesn't work. And then sometimes you have to install the app. Not YouTube is not installed natively on all smart TVs. There's a lot of technical to TVs now, you guys. It's crazy. All righty. And see, StreamYard made some changes. That's what's going on with this stuff today. So when you were making this, any of these blocks, okay, you were supposed to trim away the batting once this first line went down, all right? And I have a trimmer by George from Hoop Sisters. And this just makes my life so much easier with the trimmer by George. So if you're brand new, it has a metal edge, okay, right there. And I just pick up just the fabric. You're going to pick up just the fabric on this and fold that over like that. And that metal edge protects the pretty fabric. Now, depending on your rotary cutter, you're going to need, I like these Olfa cutters. These are my favorite because when I let go, the blade goes away and it's safe for my little fingers. Okay, so when this is like this, the button is tall enough that it doesn't hit the ruler. So you need the 60 millimeter. If you have the 45 and you go to do it, you can't get a cut because this button rolls on top of this and the blade is not deep enough to make the cut. So they recommend a 60 and then you can just trim it like that. And this comes away nice and clean. And this is what you get. So a lot of embroidery companies are going this way to start making all these kinds of little tiling seam things, right? This is essentially what it is. You're making tiles and you're going to sew, embroider different tiles and then sew them together. So this just is an easy way to cut away, not only because you have to cut away the batting too after so you remove the stabilizer in the hoop is the way they want you to do it. Then you pull the project out and then you're supposed to cut away the stabilizer too. This gets rid of both at the same time. Plus you don't have to pull batting away, cut away your batting. Now this particular block, it says it has special cutting instructions. And what that means is, in this instance, if you look, the trunk of this tree extends below that line, and that is actually your stitch line. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. We're going to put all this together. So this stitching is supposed to go into the seam allowance. Now, some of you quilters don't like that. Y'all get all bent out of shape about you don't want the bulk in the seam allowance. In these embroidery tiling scenes, a lot of times you don't have a choice. And I know that that was a big beef with how Autumn Love was digitized, to have fabric and thick, heavy stitching go into the seam allowance. It doesn't have to, but if it's digitized like that, that is so that when it's sewn together, you don't get fabric that pops out of the seam allowance. And the stitches go all the way down into the seam allowance. So when it is pressed flat, you don't see fabric in there. You see only stitching. That's done intentionally. And quilters, people who were quilters before they were embroiderers, that makes their skin crawl. They can't stand it. Embroiderers, when you start doing that, when you're not a quilter and you're an embroiderer, first you're like, meh, no big deal. That's the way it was done. And it'll turn out beautiful. So I have had so many quilters complain about that Autumn Love from Riley Blake because they didn't want that bulk going down into that seam allowance. But you guys, that's the way it's supposed to be. And that is because on these particular projects, you don't press your seams to one side so that they nest. You don't do that. On these projects, you press your seams open. And if your pressed seam is open, then what happens is if you've only got fabric and stitching right to the edge of that, right to the edge of this stitch line, when you sew it together, you may see a gap and you don't want a gap there once it's pressed. So I'm just telling you guys that because I had a lot of folks, they get all upset. So you want this hanging down into the seam allowance. Okay. Yes. All right. So let's get it cut. Get out the hammer. That's right, Lisa. Get out the hammer. So to cut these using orange pop rulers. Now they give you the final trim size. Orange pop rulers are designed as a centering tool, and it's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get I don't even know. You've got to have the light on it just right. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this or not. There is an arrow right here. Let me see if I can get the glare on it, the light just right. There's an arrow. I wish it was darker. You can mark it with a Sharpie if you want. And it's on both ends and side to side. All the sides have that. Let me get the light on it just right, maybe. There's an arrow. So that lets you see how to trim, where center is. And the instructions tell you on this block to center this arrow in the middle of the tree trunk. And then you want to make sure that you have your stitching equal on all sides. Let me get over here closer to you. Like this. Okay. So I don't know if you can see the stitch lines. Okay, so I want to make sure the arrow is in the center of the tree trunk, and this arrow, I do need to mark those. I'm going to go get a Sharpie, and I guess if I don't like it, I can certainly take it off with an alcohol wipe. But let's mark that. So that's going to be easier for you guys to see. And the beauty of these orange pop rulers is that I'm going to do it on the back so that if it goes off the edge, I don't get anything. I don't mess up my fabric or my nice rotary mat from Kimberbell. This is a nice rotary mat. I like it. Okay. So now we can see the 4 points, right? Easier, much easier. Okay. So it says to center that with the center of the tree trunk and center this one with the point of the tree. Okay. Let me get that Sharpie away from this fabric. That makes me nervous. Okay. Well, you're welcome, Linda. She says, thanks for showing the orange pop ruler help. Now, the lines for the stitching, I need I'm looking for a different, I don't know. I want to make sure you guys can see this. So I need a good, okay. So here is the line for the stitching right here. I'm drawing right on top of it. It's the same, the thread's the same color as the fabric almost. So it's hard to see. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know if there's any better. That's going to go away with ironing. So anyway, I'm making sure the distance between the seam line and the arrows are the same. And that's going to give me a nice centered block. This is the 4.5 inch orange pop ruler. Now you can take a regular rotary cutter, and it's got these little grooves, these divots here on the corners. And that's going to allow you to start in the back, okay? And you're going to stitch, and it'll go all the way up to the top, okay? Don't move it. And it has little rubber thingies on the back to hold it. You know what thingies are, right? I'll show you in a second once I get done with this. So I'm going to press it in and go forward, okay? If you are nervous about getting that rotary cutter so close to your fingers, let me open up my Kimberbell tool tote here. And there is another, you can add another ruler to the outside of it like this. Okay. You can add another ruler to the outside, and that's going to give you a little bit more safety room so you don't cut your fingers. Okay. So I can put my fingers over here. Just kind of hold this like this and turn. And the last one and turn. Okay. So that gives me my block, and it's perfectly centered. And that's exactly what you're looking for. You've got your 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. Okay. And I don't need this. Now, I need to do the same thing to this other block. And I want to show you how to do that. This block right here, well, it's easy to figure out how to do a square, right? But this is not a square. This is a rectangle. So when you use your rectangle rulers, you actually have, you know, 2 different lengths of cutting to do. So if I use this rectangle ruler, it's too short. It doesn't work out. Okay. That doesn't work out if I use that rectangle ruler. But what it does work out for are the sides. So this is, all I'm doing is I'm going to cut the sides, okay? Because if I use this one for the sides, it's too big. But this one is used for the ends, the short ends. This one is used for the sides. So you want to put these together. Again, let me mark. Hold on. Let me mark this so you guys can see it. All of these. This just makes your life a little bit more, you feel better about cutting and you're not going to do it wrong. And they give you pictures in the book to show you exactly how to do this with these rulers. I mean, if you can figure it out on your own, you certainly can, obviously. But I like to use these just to make sure I'm cutting exactly like they say, so I don't mess up all my work. Okay, so this one is going to take care of my little short ends. I want to set that here, and this is going to take care of my long sides. So now I can use both of these, and here's the stitch line on my long sides. Okay, and I have the equal amount of space on the long ends for both of these. Okay, so I'm going to cut. Don't move it. And okay, now I want to do my short ends. So I'm going to take away this one. And now I'm going to make sure that the seam allowance is the same on the short ends. Okay. And trim that. Okay. Now I've got a little bit of scissor work to do, and that's okay. That's not a problem. You can take the outside of the ruler and just finish up that. That works really well. I actually could use the long one and I wouldn't have to move it, right? So it feels weird at first to be stitching when you're cutting over on this side as a right-handed. Okay. Okay, so that does that. And then turn it around. All right. And I'm just going up to the cut edge and hold it straight. There. And now my block is perfectly cut and centered, and I don't have to worry about it. That's very cool. Okay. The orange pop rulers just work so well. And I wanted to give you guys kind of a good idea of how those work. Okay. So now I'm going to get a project board and get this all together. I have it laid out on my table. It's dark because of that light. Let me get that. Okay. So let's put our toys away because I got too much going on here. And this is hard to deal with from my brain. This is my tool tote for Kimberbell right here. Okay. My horizontals or my rectangles go here, and my squares go here. And now if I ever go to a Kimberbell event, I'm looking cool with my tote. All right. Good. And my ruler here, put this away. Just all the tools to make your life so much easier, right? Okay, here's my book. So what I need to do is this block goes, I think not with that one. No, I've got to figure out with the tree. So these two go together to be sewn together, okay? So these are going to be sewn like this. And then these two need to be sewn together like this. I'm going to put those just right there. And then the bird needs to go on top, below these two. And then these two get sewn together like this. this is quite the little puzzle here, I think, right? Oh, I see. So they're actually two different columns with this on top. So I'm just going to put them all on here, kind of get them the way they need to go. And then we're going to talk about how to sew up the pieced block. So this is all column number 3. Okay. Very cute. There we go. I had a mess and now my table's clean. How nice is that? All righty. So I'm going to spin you guys around here. Y'all hold on. Okay. Let me get my laptop out of the way. Is the orange pop ruler worth it? So yeah, they're not inexpensive. That's true. Y'all, please don't buy those cheap ones on Temu. Those break and you can't trust the sizing. Though they stole the color and everything from Kimberbell. And yeah. I love the design of that Kimberbell ruler case. Oh my goodness. I'm going to bring y'all down. Hold on. We're going down here. Okay. You removed the tack down line for the 6x10. Do not need to stitch it with the sewing machine after it is out of the hoop. It is not necessary. No, it is not. It is not necessary. The only thing that is necessary when you're doing these kinds of designs is the stitch line. That's why you guys saw me throughout the entire process remove those. So take a look. Look at the first two. There we go. That turned out just beautiful. Okay, let's take a look at it. So this is all together. This is section 1. Okay, and here is section 2. And it turned out gorgeous. Okay. Okay. I need to move this to get here and have you guys here and get all this right. Let me go wide here a little bit better. All righty. No Temu. That's right. We do not support companies that steal ever. We are stitchers with integrity. We don't share our designs and we don't support companies that steal intellectual property. Alrighty. Well, I hope your grandson gets into West Point. That's awesome. I hope that happens. R.A. Richardson. I hope he gets in. That's great. Alrighty, you guys. So the first thing we're going to do now is to stitch these together. So these all got done yesterday. I went ahead and did these yesterday afternoon, these 4, after I had finished with y'all. We were on for 2 hours yesterday. Hold on, the VA is bugging me. Just speaking of Veterans Day. Okay. I tell you what, they, I'm not signing in. They sent me something. I got a little thing in the mail yesterday that said, your appointment on November 17th has been canceled. And I'm like, I didn't have an appointment on November 17th. So they took the resources to print, mail, all of that, postage, everything for nothing. I've gotten 2 or 3 of those. My husband gets them too. It's crazy. That system. Oh, it's crazy. So, all right. So these need sewn together. If you've never made one of these before, and so just like I was saying before, you need that stitch line. So that outer stitch line, okay? That outer stitch line right there. You need that outer stitch line because that is going to be your sew line. So that you got 2 of them in the back. If you did the background quilting, you've got 2 of them. You want to make sure which one is which. And to do that, you take a pin and you just put it right through, right on that stitch line, right there. And then when you turn it around, you can tell it's the inner one. All right. It's the inner one. It's the inner one on every single one of these. And I don't care what kind of design you're ever going to be making. I've been doing these designs no matter what digitizer is doing these. Every one of these pieces are digitized to fit together perfectly. So I'm going to talk to you about a concept that some of y'all are It doesn't come instinctively. When I sew on this, I'm going to stitch 1 needle width inside of that inner stitch line. 1 needle width inside. If you're a quilter, that goes against the grain, because as quilters, we're taught you must sew on that 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. You must sew on that 1/4 inch seam allowance and get a good 1/4 inch seam. For embroidery tiling seams, if you make your needle, if you sew 1 needle width inside of that stitch line, because I don't want that stitch line sewing on, I don't want it to show on the outside. And you do that consistently throughout the entire project as you sew it together, it will fit perfectly. Everything will fit perfectly. Don't stitch on the line. You want to stitch 1 needle width inside of it. And speaking of needles, you want a 90-14 needle. You can use 116, but I recommend a 90-14. That's going to handle all the layers of your batting, your stabilizer, if you've got some fusible woven on the back of your fabric. And then in this case, we have folds, okay, of fabric that was stitched and then folded over, because this was a piece as you go, okay? So you want a little bit heavier needle so it won't break as it's going through. So that's just this piece, okay? And then I'm going to attach it to this piece, right? And so there's double the count. So a 90-14 is what I recommend if you're going to be sewing these together. Regular quilting, you can use a 75-11 if you're putting together 2 pieces of quilting cotton and a 1/4 inch seam and you're done. That's no big deal, even going through multiple seams. But I recommend a heavier needle to do these, okay? All righty. So how to get these together. So we are blending some quilting and machine embroidery skills. I've got to match the points where right there, that point. I need to match those on all of these to get them together. So I have a pinning trick that I use, and we're going to show you how to do that. I use a 90-14 for just about everything too. Yeah, it just helps. Did I address the narrow view? Yes. You joined late and haven't been on for a while. You can go back and watch where I addressed it. Yes. So the narrow view, if you're watching on something that should be a wide view, just close out YouTube and reboot, okay? If the narrow view is designed for folks who are watching on a phone. It allows, StreamYard just promoted this yesterday. They just released it, and they recommended that I shoot this. And what it does is it allows me to see what you guys are seeing in the narrow view. I'll show you. I'll show you what it looks like. Can y'all see my screen? See? I'll show you what it looks like. There's 2 views here. Here's the narrow view. This is what folks are seeing when they watch on a phone, and this is what folks are seeing when they watch on a widescreen, on a laptop or desktop or TV. That was the problem this morning. When I created that, it created 2 live streams. 1 for narrow, 1 for wide, and everybody jumped on one and not the other. And it was weird. And I was like, why are there 2 views? And so I'm on this one and I'm trying to overhear, and it was like chaos. So yeah, StreamYard just started that. Okay, you're on a computer and still on the narrow view. Linda, did you close YouTube and open back up? I'm going to let them know that, because that's a recent release and it's a bug. They need to fix that. So anyway. Oh, Eli, good to know. I will put a link to that then, because the accessory kits and the first 3 houses are available for pre-order. I need to put a link to that because we're going to be making that. I don't think that releases until the ships in March. Yeah, thanks. I need to do that. Okay. So Donna said it was in narrow view. She closed and reopened, and Donna, now it's fine. Okay. I'm not happy about that, you guys. I can't fix it. Okay. All righty. So we're just going to keep going. All right. So here's how I'm going to do my pinning. All right. I'm going to, I got a lot of lines back here and I want to make sure which one is which. So I'm just going to I'm going to take a pin and go through the point. Okay. And now I can see where it's coming out in the back. And so now I'm going to put another pin in right on where that's coming out. So I know I've got the right seam. There's a couple of seams coming together at one spot right here. Okay. So this needs to go like this, right? So I'm going to put these face to face now, and I'm going to take my pin and I'm going to go right in on that point of the next of its partner, right inside of that seam line. Let me see if I can show you here better. This way, right inside of that seam line. Can I get in any closer where you guys can see exactly what I'm doing? See where those pins are? Inside the seam line on the point and inside the seam line on the point. That's how you marry those up. Okay. So now I'm doing this, and you want to make sure that your pin is horizontal. Okay. So I want to make sure it's horizontal. And I like a nice inch. This is 1 3/4 inch pin. I'm also eyeballing to make sure that everything is matching up. So these seam lines, these two colored seam lines, they're matching up. I need to look at, instead of looking in the camera, I want to make sure they're perfectly matched together. Now, if your seam allowance edges are different lengths, don't sweat it. It's fine. We don't care about the size of the seam allowance. We care about those edges marrying up. And as a quilter, that'll make you wonky. It will drive you bats, right? But you want to make sure that everything is lined up exactly where it needs to go. Now, I'm going to take a pin and I'm going to go on the diagonal in one side of the seam allowance and out the other on a 45. And that's going to anchor those together. Then before I pull that pin, I want to just make a dot. So I make sure I hit that, where that pin actually is. Okay, now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the ends. So I'm going in on the corner on the inner seam line. And then I'm going to go in on this corner on just inside that seam line. Okay, hold it horizontally. And I'm going to go in one side of the seam allowance and out the other on the 45. And same goes here. This is going to make sure that all the points are matching up. And I'm going to put it right inside that seam where those match. And I'm going to take a peek and make sure that those seams are, because they don't nest. Okay, they don't nest. They can't. I want that white edge to edge, top and bottom, level, even with one another. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. This is a whole new ball game when it comes to stitching these. I used, I got some pins. I don't know where I got them from. It was in probably from a subscription box, and they were little bees or whatever. And I tried doing this process with those pins, and they bent right out the gate. And so I threw them away. Where are they at? Are they in here or did I get, yeah, they're in here. Right out the gate, I tried to put one of these pins. They're little bee pins. I think they're from Riley Blake. They had little jewels on them and whatnot, and they look nice and strong. and I went to shove it through. That's what I'm telling you, why you need a 9014 needle. And it bent. I was like, well, that's the end of that. I don't like junk that doesn't work. Okay, so now on my presser foot, the seam line that I said I'm going to stitch right inside of, this is the inside seam line right here that I'm going to stitch right inside of that, okay? The edge of the split in my presser foot is going to travel right along the edge, right along that seam line. I'm going to make sure the needle is just inside of there. That's what's going on here. Okay. And you want to use a stiletto. Get out your Keith Ripper. It's got a stiletto on the other end of it. No need to back tack. And I'm stitching very slowly over those pins. Don't take them out before you get to it because they'll shift. I want to hit that perfect. Okay. All righty, let's see how we did. If my theory works. Boom. Money, y'all. That's what I'm talking about right there. Ta-da. Vicky says I'm holding my breath. That's how you do that. Right like that. Perfecto. All day long. All right. So let's do it again a little bit faster. Okay. I'm going to take these two and put them together. And I want to make sure I'm coming out right on the point. So I'm going to just inside the seam line right there. Take another pin, put this right in the same spot. Pull that. Line these up. Right in the same spot. Okay. Hold that pin horizontal. Make sure, take a peek that everything is matching exactly as you want right there. Hold that horizontal. And then stitch, pin in one side of that seam allowance and out the other. Yes. There you go. So Karen said, I followed this process when I made that whimsical advent calendar and you had perfect seams every time. I'm telling you, this works so well. And I want to take this point and put it in right here. And make sure, take a peek. So that's off. That's no good. There are variables in this. You know, how precise was your crease on your fabric? You need to make sure that you get everything lined up exactly right. And the last one. Now, when I'm doing straightaways, I have a tendency, I will put a pin through the center of that straightaway just to make sure that the lines are even and the line on the bottom is not going to slip low and get caught in the seam allowance. I don't want to see that in the seam allowance. Okay. Let's give it a go. See how we do here. Also, since you're stitching over pins, that 9014 will withstand any kind of friction it might if you accidentally go over one. You want to go slow. This is its own skill set for these projects. I'm a little off. That will bother me. I'm going to take it apart and I'm going to fix it. So that point is fine. And I was off on these up here. Now this line not meeting is not going to be seen. That's going to be in the seam allowance. But because this one is a little off and that's a little off, if I press that flat, that's not going to work for me. See how the blue, there's a step. See it? Okay. hold on a second here. My husband said, oh, oh, that's nice. Got a thanks for Veterans Day from my son. For Keith and I. That's very nice. All right, I got to get this seam ripper here. Oh my gosh, we're already done. Our hour's already up. My goodness. Well, we'll go a little bit longer because we got on late today. Sorry, you guys. That's a StreamYard boo-boo. Okay, I'm only going to open up to where the problem was. I'm not going to go all the way. I mean, I could, but I don't want to. Why, right? If one of them's fine, okay. Now, let me do this again. It's hard getting it straight when I'm not looking at it correctly with y'all. So let me go right in that point. Okay. And in this point, and make sure the pin is horizontal and all the fabrics are lined up. Also, if you are stitching something and you're on a seam that is going to be folded backwards, I'll take a pin and I'll come in from the underside and kind of hold it like that. And that way that seam doesn't get flipped back when I stitch over it. I don't like that. That makes it really hard. So before we go, I want to be sure to show you guys how to press, okay? Because that's important when you're putting this together. Let me get this done. All right, let me give this another try here. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all, there are the wooden ruler racks that my son makes. Handcrafted ruler racks. They are on our store site right now. There's 10 of them left, I think. So they go fast. Treat yourself for Christmas. And that'll be very helpful. That looks like this one right back here. And he makes them. So they're out on our store site, powertoolswiththreadstore.com, handcrafted wood ruler rack. And the shipping is free on it. Okay, let's give it a shot. See how this did. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm after right there. Okay. Okay. Kind of says unstitching only where you need it has saved me. So now take a look inside here. You see that stitching? That's what it looks like when you stitch one needle width right inside of that seam line, and that's perfect. Okay. US shipping only. Yes, Bonnie. Okay. And this looks good right here. So let me show you how I press these. And you want to press, just like when you're quilting, you want to press every time. I'm going to turn the camera. I'm going to turn this other camera, I think. Because, let's see, get this up. Come over here. And you can take a look at my cool new pressing. Oh, it's so pretty. He just threw it right over the top. Okay, this is a seam roll from Gray Rooster. A link to this is in my the description box. So you want to press these open, okay? And I'm going to, a lot of heat and steam. A lot of heat and steam. Hold it. Oh, I don't have that right. I folded it with the iron. Steam. And hold that down and clapper it. You want that nice and flat. And that's beautiful. Nice and flat. That's what you're looking for. Okay? Just like that. And I'm going to do the other one. So like I said, see, you do not press to the side. So that big, thick, bulky satin stitching or any of that that goes into the seam allowance is fine. Give it some steam. Press this down. And this is why, too, it doesn't matter if your seam allowances are different widths. All right. Now, if you look, I didn't have enough fabric right there. Not a big deal. It's going to be in the seam allowance. Okay. So now these are ready to go together like this. And you have to match the center seams. You're going to match that center seam like that. Okay. Okay. Let me come back over here. Ugh. Thank you very much, Shannon, for your sticker. That's very thoughtful. Thank you. I appreciate that, darling. Okay. So I can see where the stitches ended on here. I don't know if you can. I can see. Oh, there they are. You can see where the stitches ended right in there. I'm just going to put a pin right through it. And I'm going to put the same pin right through here and marry up those two seams. Do I trim the batting? On these ones, I did not because it had the stitch lines. I did out of the hoop, but this one has the stitch lines that for the pieces you go that stuck outside of that edge. But yes, I did trim the batting. Now, when you're pinning, start from the center and work your way out. Okay. I want to put this, if it'll do it. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. That little piece right there can get flipped back as it goes over the under the presser foot. So I'm going to take another pin and just kind of flatten that down, and I just pin it like that and make sure that's not going to go anywhere. Okay. This, show the ruler rack close up. Now mine has a little thing up on top for the smaller rulers. That my husband made this one, but the way my son designed it is because that doesn't ship well. The way my son designed it is this center board right here is actually closer over here to this side, and it will hold smaller rulers on one side. The beauty of this is the top of it has a lip right up here that will hold things on top if you want. Oh, you can't see it. It'll hold things on top. Mine doesn't have the lip. The ones he makes does. And then every one of these slots are hand sanded. And there is a big spot in the back for giant rulers that it's got an opening there. Okay. And they are designed to hang on the wall. They are not designed to stand on a, I mean, I guess you could, but they're designed to hang on the wall. And you get you get everything you need to hang it. Okay. There. This is fabulous. I absolutely love this. Well made. They're very, very well made. So let me show y'all where they're at. Let me pull it up on my, let me see. Okay. So we're going to go to share screen, and that's not the right. Yeah, that's it. Let me see here. Let me make sure I'm in the right one. I don't want to mess with you guys. Let me hit cancel. Okay, I'm going to go to share screen. Hold on a minute. Yeah, I'm in the right place here. I've got too many screens open, y'all. Okay, so on our store site, which is powertoolswiththreadstore.com, so if you just go to the home page, you don't see them, okay? But if you go up to shop and go to handcrafted solid hardwood ruler rack, can you guys see that drop down? Okay. Oh, they're sold out already? No way. Oh, you guys grabbed them. Yeah, look at that. Beautiful. They're gone. Sorry, y'all. You got to be quick around this bunch. Y'all are ruthless. Ruthless. So there's going to be more coming, you guys. The kids need braces, 2 of them at the same time. So my daughter-in-law was on my son. You better get busy with those ruler racks. Oh, I'm glad you got it too, cuties, Mom. Yeah, y'all are vicious. I tell people all the time, if you guys want something, you got to be bunny quick around this bunch because it's bad. It's crazy. So I started from the center out on these. Let's switch this. Oh, we're still looking there. We don't want that. Hold on. Let me turn that camera around back over here. All right, you guys. You guys want to stick around? I'm going to finish this this one right here. Get that right in there. Make sure that those blue fabrics line up precisely. Okay. And I'm stitching at a 45 there. Take this. This pinning method, though, is just going to save you so much grief. Because if you just try to sew it together and guess, ugh, it's awful, awful, awful. And if pinning at a 45 doesn't work for you, then pin as close to your alignment pin as possible and on a straight. Because sometimes you get a lot of bulk going in there and it's hard. And you want to pin behind the alignment pin. Behind it as in, as it's traveling down, you'd pull it after you crossed over that seam. Once you get the knack, it goes pretty quick, y'all. Okay. Let's do this. Yeah, there'll be more ruler racks coming, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. You know, it all depends on the flock, right? His first priority is to God. And as a pastor, you know, he has to minister to his folks first. Oh, I'm stitching upside down where I intended to. That's okay, not a big deal. Okay. He just got back from Japan. He had to go over there and help one of their missionaries. His wife was flat on her back for the last, I don't know how many months with a pregnancy. So they had a 2.5-year-old. And Ryan had to go over and help do some pastoring. Okay. All right. Let's see how it worked. So that had to wait. All these ruler racks had to wait till he got back. And they're in the process right now of, oh, yay. Y'all, I just got chills down my leg. That is so stinking pretty. Oh my goodness. Look at that. Yay. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's perfect. I'm so excited. Let's go press. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Let's turn you around. Hold on, we're spinning. Bring you up here. Okay. And if you just joined, yes, my ironing station has been recovered. Yay. So I'm going to press this open, pressing these seams completely open with my fingers and hit it with some steam. If you are afraid, if you've got a fusible woven on the back of your fabric and you're afraid that it's going to shrink when you use steam this method, don't be. There is so much stitching going on that there's nowhere for it to shrink to. It is held in place quite well. Use a clapper. Okay. Oh, y'all, that is beautiful. It's just as pretty from the back almost, right? And look, I absolutely love it. Just love it. Yay. Oh, that's just lovely. I love it when a plan comes together, don't you? All right, y'all. I'm going to bring you up here. Come on up. Let me get you doing here. I'm very happy about that, as you can tell. So you love about my teaching? No half stepping on my part. No, no, no. You don't want to do that. If you do some half step, what happens is you've got to be able to do all those little parts and pieces. How do I know that? Because I struggled with this for a very long time until I finally got the method down. And now that I'm doing it, so thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. All right, you guys, that's it. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I apologize for the technical issues this morning. We came on late. If you're watching on replay, may or may not be a problem for you. But anyway, it's all StreamYard. They just did an update and things went a little weird. But we made it and we got to spend time together. So also remember, I will not be here Thursday. My husband's having shoulder surgery. Friday is questionable. We will see how he's doing, okay? But anyway, all right, I will talk to you guys later. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. You guys go sew something. Bye.